Okay guys, so welcome to the very first online class, and the first subject we have to review is the advertising or the commercial piece of advertising, which might be a billboard, might be a video, might be any kind of visual information we have to communicate our product. It is important to remark that the more structured and coherent or ad is, the better impact it will create in our audience. So it also creates more effectiveness and popularity to our product or our service. A good piece of advertise have several elements, key elements, in order to warranty its effectiveness. So we're gonna talk about that, and the first one we have is the bullet. But yeah, I wanna mention all of them. We have the bullet, the body, the headline, the contact, of course. How are we getting to actually getting contact to the brand that is promoting certain kind of product. And we also have the main photography, which we also know. We have been talking about advertising photography for the last month, I guess. So yeah, I'm gonna skip the part where I explain what a piece of advertising is, because we already know what the piece of advertising is, and I don't really think it is necessary to explain that. So the first thing you gotta know is that we have to create a good piece of advertising in order for it to be effective, which is the main purpose of our piece of advertising. We want it to be effective, we want it to be eye-catching, of course, because that's the main point of advertising. We want our brand to be recognized because of our piece of advertising, not just because of our products. We want our products to be positioned by our advertise. So the first thing we have to get is we have to make a piece of advertise that is eye-catching enough to get more popularity for our brand, for our product, or for our service. It all depends on what we are speaking about, okay? So the main point of this is to communicate the customer that we have a good offering. And in order to do that, we have to create good advertise. I think that I'm repeating this a lot, so I hope it is already clear. The first element of the advertising or the commercial advertising is a bullet. And I want to show you an example. I've been looking for examples, printed examples of advertise, but there's not that much, at least not in my house. So I want to show you, for example, this one. It is not the best example of an eye-catching piece of advertise, but this is what I have. So I want you to analyze this. I want you to consider that the main photograph, or the main part of this piece of advertising is the photograph. Actually, it's the picture they are using in order to communicate. What are they communicating in this? They're telling me that there's this band coming to my city. When is this happening? The 1st of June. This was 2016, I believe. This is also one of my favorite bands, just as a random comment. So yeah, first thing we have is we have the main body, which is composed by every single element of the piece of advertise, and then we have the main information which composes the body. But the main thing that I'm looking at, the main thing that catches my attention is the photography. So as you can see, this is a pretty dynamic photography, and they're using kind of dark colors. We're gonna talk about colors later, but I want you to analyze this just as a whole thing, okay? Then I'm gonna show you something different. Now I'm gonna show you this little piece of advertisement, which is not actually advertised, but it is. I don't know how to explain it, but it kind of. Well, I'm gonna show you this. This is a folder, which is information. Oh my god. Well, this is information from a figure that I might show you later. But I want you to analyze this. This is a whole piece, and they're also using it not just as an informative folder, but they're using it as a piece of advertising. So I want you to look at the main image. As you can see, they have a pretty good looking drawing, and then they also use a photograph of the product you're getting in the box, which is here. You might not be able to watch it, I don't know, you might not be able to see it, but this is what they are composing. They're using this pretty eye-catching drawing, which is not real. This is not what you're getting in the box, and then they show you what you are actually getting in the box, because they don't want you, they don't want to sell the product through the product itself. They want to sell the product through the feelings the drawing will project in your mind. And then you can see they have the logo right here as the other example. They also use the logo right here. Note that this is not the brand logo. This is not the this is the band logo. This is not the producer's logo, because they don't want to show you who the producer is, but the brand they are bringing to your city. They are showing you which band is coming to your city, and they want you to come and watch this band. They don't want you to come and ask for other bands, because their main target is the people who likes the band. So yeah, let's continue analyzing this. As you can see, they kind of use a lot of information in this piece of advertise, which also is a piece of advertise, because they're communicating, they're selling through this image, even though this one is inside the box. What they want to get with this, they want to inspire you so you can get more figures from this same brand. So first thing we have to analyze is that the very first element of a good piece of advertise is something we call a bullet. In Spanish it is called balazo, which sounds pretty stupid, I know, but that's the real name of this element. So what's a bullet? How do we use a bullet? How do we put a bullet into a piece of advertise? Well, first thing we have to consider it is that a bullet is a pretty short sentence, pretty eye-catching. It is almost a headline, but not a headline at all, that introduces the content that you want to express on your advertising message. So a bullet might be like when you're watching TV, for example, and then the news pop out, and then they are telling you in the little band on the lower part of the screen. They're telling you what they're speaking about. They're telling you that we're on a quarantine and everything, whatever, and that's rolling over the screen, and then you're watching it, and then that's eye-catching because it is moving, and it is also giving you important information that you have to know, but that's not the whole information. That's why it is not a headline. So the bullet is also known as because, okay, no, I'm gonna repeat that. Bullet also synthesizes the essence of the main advertised piece. So it is important for us to know and identify how can we find a bullet. For example, here I have a headline, and then I have two bullets. One of those is in Japanese, so we're not gonna be able to read it, and the other, it's pretty short and it's pretty little actually. You might not be able to see it, but it is right here, and it says plastic model kit. So it is telling me what I'm gonna get inside the box, and then it is telling me what character am I buying in this box, and it says Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Son Goku, which is the figure that comes inside the box. And then I have the logo, and then I have the main picture, and then I have this little form right here which helps to catch the attention in order to direct it to the information that I want you to see. So that's it for the bullet. Okay, so for the next element we have the picture, the main picture we're using in our advertising piece. So we have this, as I already told you. Well, I'm gonna give you several examples on the video, so I don't have to use this anymore, because they are not actually good examples of what an advertising piece actually is. So let's keep talking about the main picture. The main picture might be elusive pictures about the message that I wanna give you. For example, if I'm gonna sell you a motorcycle, then I'm gonna use a dude riding a motorcycle, or I'm gonna show you a specific part of the motorcycle, or I'm gonna give you a hint at least that I'm gonna speak about a motorcycle on my piece of advertising. So the main thing we have to consider is that we want to make it easy for the customer to remember what we're talking about and to recognize what we're talking about as soon as they watch the piece of advertising. So it resembles what you're speaking about, and it gets right to your subconscious. It might be something that evoked something you're feeling or something you felt in the past, but it also have to sell the whole idea of what my product actually wants to communicate. Generally there are people in the pictures, clothing, an image of the product. For example, if you're buying a camera, then they're gonna show you the camera. As in this example, if they want you to buy a figure, they will show you the figure, or they might not show you the figure, but they will put something related to what you are actually looking for, to what you are actually looking forward to buy. Okay. This is important. If you place models on your piece of advertise, then you have to make sure these models are attractive, because you're not speaking about human special situations as they have been doing. You're speaking about what your subconscious actually desired. You're speaking about what you want the people to know from your brand. And this reminds me about the white people and the black people. I'm sorry to relate the subject with this, but it is almost imperative that advertise has been using white people in order to communicate a certain lifestyle, and we have that in our minds, and the next generations that comes after us, they have that in their mind. And I believe that it is important to change that idea, and we can do it through marketing, we can do it through advertising, but we have to look for the best version of our race or other races in order to sell the idea of wellness and a good life for the different segments of people that there are, you know. So again, we're trying to use popularity. We're trying to use popularity in order to sell our image. So if we are able to use influencers, then we have to do it because that's our brand images. Sorry. Okay, I think that this is not a pretty complex topic, so I'm gonna leave it right there. I just want you to note that you have to use eye-catching pictures, you have to use related subject pictures, and also you have to make it as attractive as you can, not for you, not for any people. You have to study first your target market in order to know what you're selling and what will you sell for them and what they actually want to see on a picture. Because the image of your piece of advertise is the main way of selling something. It's the main way of communicating with your customer subconscious, and that's what we want to do. So that's it for the main image, and we're moving to the next topic, which is headline. So if you have read before a newspaper, then you know what a headline is. You know that a headline is the main piece of information, verbal information you're having on the piece of advertise. So in this section you have to set the main idea for the advertise, sorry, and then you have to make it quick and effective. The headline is one of the most eye-catching elements on the piece of advertise, and it makes the whole piece more effective in order to communicate what you want your customer to see. So it has to be detailed, it has to be the whole message, and it is mostly present on the superior part of your ad. For example, here we can find our headline, which is telling us what we are getting in the box. And here we have our headline, which is telling us when is this happening. So we have to select the more important things that we want to communicate to our customers, so we can know how are we setting this information in our billboard or our piece of ad. It doesn't matter. Remember that brain works as it works as a machine, and it always reads up to down and right to left. So that might be one of the most important way to know where are we placing our headline. So yeah, that's it for headline. It is pretty easy, and I know you are having no trouble with this virtual class. Also, I'm sorry if you can hear like a weird noise. It is my fan right here because I have fans. I hope you all have. And well, that's it. Yeah, I almost forget to tell you that headline is like the main structure of the whole information we're placing in our advertising piece, and it helps us to reinforce the buying intentions our customers may have. So yeah, that's something important. You should be writing that down on your notebooks, because it will be on the test, that's pretty sure. Next, we have to speak about the body of information in our advertising piece, which is the main core of information in our ad. There you can detail the benefits that you're offering through your product or service that you're promoting. In essence, it is a resume of the whole information that have some interest for the main target of our advertise. So the content of the body is it's an element used to reinforce the buying intention, also as the bullet and as the headline, to reinforce the intention of buying something. I mean, if we already have this intention, we already have this desire, we have to appeal to the subconscious in order to make people take this decision, even though there's another topic that we're gonna talk later that focuses specifically in that purpose. So yeah, as an example, I can show you this one again, as though I'm gonna place several examples in the video. But here you can see this picture have the body down here, because the body of this piece of advertise is not that important for the selling purposes. I'm not buying this because of the main body. I'm buying this because I already have the desire of buying this kind of stuff, because this is a pretty specific product. I'm not looking forward to buy coffee. I'm not looking forward to buy cookies. I want to buy specifically this figure, and I'm looking for it. I will show you this figure at the end of the video. Yeah, here we have the body. So as I said, it is the main core of information, and it gives specific details as size of the figure, colors, how do I have to assemble this figure, etc., etc. Next topic is one of the most important things inside of the whole composition, and it is called the call to action. You already know what a call to action is. If you don't, you should. So once you have persuaded your potential client with the other elements inside the composition, now you have the closing part, the closing text, which is the call to action. This is a short sentence where we specifically give an order to our client, we give an order to a customer, and we tell the people how they can get this stuff, when they can get this stuff, and where they can get this stuff. For example, it might be like, call now. How can you get it? By calling. This offer will be available from March to July. We all know that the offer will not be able between just that 2 months, but we're giving a specific amount of time for the people to feel pressured about getting the product in time. Or it might be get it on the nearest store. We're telling them where can they get this product, and it is a pretty helpful tool, because we're not just playing with the information we're giving, we're playing with the subconscious of our clients. This is the way we have to get into this into the subconscious of the people. So yeah, call to action is one of the most important pieces of this whole puzzle called advertising, and if not the most important, every single piece of advertise should have a call to action. Also, call to action is not always an instruction. It might be an invitation. It might be just another piece of information that looks like it's nothing, but it's actually communicating something pretty important. Okay, and then we have last. No, sorry, it's not last. We have the slogan. It is a short phrase that identifies the brand. That identifies the brand, and it's pretty catchy and simple. You will remember it for the rest of your freaking life because it is just as simple as saying enjoy it, or a que no puedes comer solo una. These catching sentences used in order for you to relate to the brand and feel like you're being included inside that piece of advertising, even though you don't know this is happening inside your brain. It is happening, and it is motivating you to go and get this product using your self-realization. It is a pretty catchy sentence used for the most of brands in order for you to recognize the brand immediately. Even if you're not watching the logo, even if you're not watching a piece of advertise, whenever you hear this sentence, you will recognize it and say, yeah, of course, I remember. That's the slogan of Pepsi, that's the slogan of McDonald's, whatsoever, it doesn't matter. Okay, and then we have the contact information, which is where we are letting people to know how they can contact us. It might be a phone, it might be an email, it might be the social media, it might be any kind of communication way we have with our clients, and how can they reach us in order to get the product we're selling. And last but not least, the logo. Any piece of advertising you're watching has the logo. It doesn't matter if it doesn't have slogan, it doesn't matter if it doesn't have body, it doesn't matter if it doesn't have a headline, it will always have the logo. And that's because that's the most important positioning tool we have. That's the most important positioning tool we have in our advertise. We are creating a piece of visual content that we are delivering to people in order for them to know what we are selling, but they cannot buy this stuff if they don't know who is selling this stuff. And that's the main purpose of placing our logo in our advertising. As an example, I can show you this. They use the logo, and then they use another logo here, but this is sponsoring, so it doesn't have to be placed inside the advertising actually. And yeah, that's it, I guess. That's all for the elements of an advertising piece. As a complementary classwork, I want you to turn in for today at 3 p.m. because you're having enough class time in order to do this. I want you to deliver a sketch. I don't want you to deliver the full advertised piece. I want you to use pictures pictures from magazines. I want you to use markers. I want you to get as creative as you can, and I want you to do something actually eye-catching. I want you to make something interesting. You have to develop a slogan for your brand if you don't have one already, and I want you to create to use your logo if you don't have one already too. You have to make it. That's gonna be for today, Monday 23 before 3 p.m. This is an individual exercise, and that's it. Hope you're all healthy. I hope you're all good. I hope you're enjoying this family time. I hope you're enjoying this quarantine. I hope you're not as scared as you thought you will be. We're all gonna be fine as long as we stay home. So yeah, nobody said this was easy. It's been good, and please turn in time. Remember, this turn in, it's gonna be your attendance for today's class, and we have 3 classes of graphic design. So for the next graphic design class, you're gonna use Photoshop and Illustrator. So I hope you already have these programs installed on your computer, and that's gonna be it for today. Remember to write this down. Everything must be on your notebook, because this is something I'm gonna consider in order to evaluate your unit. I'm gonna ask for your notebook evidence also, and that's it. It's been good to speak to you, and hope you like this way of teaching. Sorry for my English.